Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Baby Inc. is in the news again. Anybody shocked by this? No, absolutely not. We have another article, and trust me, we got so many more coming out about Sweet Baby Inc., and especially the CEO. We need to shine a light on the CEO specifically, because this company was designed and created for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to basically ruin video games. That was to push identity politics into every manner of video games in the gaming space that they possibly could.
And if you're in development and you are part of like that dominant voice, you're like a cis hetero white dude or just adjacent to that.
Ooh, you suck.
So we have an article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, Sweet Baby Inc. CEO makes it clear that she wants to erase white male lead characters while employees show disdain for white people. Now, it shouldn't be too shocking that employees are showing disdain for white people when the CEO of the company is also doing the same exact thing. You know, all the corruption, everything always starts from the top, ladies and gentlemen. It never starts from the bottom. When it comes to these companies, if they have a certain ideology, if they act a certain way, if they do certain things, it's because somebody at the top is telling them to do it. So let's get into this article, guys, from The Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. RIP Sushi Squad. It says Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Blair made it abundantly clear that the company wants to erase white male lead characters, while the company's employee Maya Kramer expressed her disdain for white people. You know, these people, the funny thing is, like, a lot of these racially fake oppressed people that love to complain about white people, if white people didn't exist, they would have no personality. They would have nothing to quote unquote fight against. Their entire existence would cease to exist. There's literally nothing else that they offer in this world other than to cause racial division. There's literally nothing. They have no personality. It's like super hardcore LGBTQ activist people where their sexuality is their entire personality. It's the same thing with these race grifters. There's nothing that they offer the world, and once that's gone, they have nothing to talk about. They will literally sit there in a room with nothing on their face. It says back in 2020, Blair spoke with complications ensue, where she was asked to explain the importance of what she's trying to do. Yeah, I'm sure it's very important, ladies and gentlemen. So important that Sushi Squad is now dead because of it. She answered, we're hitting, 40 years of video games? And I think people are starting to ask, why are we making very similar products? Why are a lot of our stories not resonating with the younger audiences? Why is our audience not growing? I like to say that representation is innovation. I think when people are asking for diverse stories, we're not asking for the same story with, diverse characters. Well, the funny thing is, so let's break this down. This entire thing is bullshit, okay? Like, literally every sentence in this paragraph is bullshit, okay? Aside from the 40 years of video games. So it says, I also think people are starting to ask, why are we making very similar products? Nobody's asking that, all right? Nobody's asking that because people, it's been proven. Look at Pokemon, right? If you give people what they want and exactly how they want it, they will consume the same thing over and over and over again, as long as it's just refreshed from time to time, but it could be the same thing and they'll eat it up. So Pokemon completely destroys that argument. Why are a lot of our stories not resonating with younger audiences? Well, quite simply, it's because you are trying to convince people that the modern audience is a younger audience who's into LGBTQ and race grifting. That's what you're trying to do. You're also not realizing that the majority of gamers are not younger audiences. A lot of gamers are actually older people, not like super old, but I'm talking like in their late 20s, early 30s. They're older people, middle-aged people. They are gamers too. And you're completely alienating them for the 1% or 2% of people that want to identify as LGBTQ under the age of 18. That's what you consider to be your modern audience. And then they say, why is our audience not growing? That is bullshit, because the gaming scene is one of the biggest scenes of entertainment in the entire world, if not the biggest. The amount of revenue and profit that the gaming scene brings in every single year is ginormous. It is like, most people can't even fathom the amount of money that comes through this industry. It's insane, which is why race grifters like you are in this scene, because you know this is where you can profit. And then it says, I like to say that representation is innovation. It's not. It's not, because representation has always existed. The only thing is now you have race grifters that are shining a light on the representation and pretending as if they were the first ones to do it, pretending as if black people didn't exist 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing that these people do because they want to be the first at everything. They want to pretend as if they're being so stunning and brave, so innovative. Without them, representation would have never happened. It would have just been all white like it was back in the day, even though it wasn't. That's what they try to do. Then they say, I think when people are asking for diverse stories, we're not asking for the same story with, diverse characters. Well, the funny thing is, this exact statement right here is completely destroyed by this picture right here, because that's exactly what Miles Morales was, except for his maybe beginning stories. But for the most part, he is literally just a one-to-one of Peter Parker, the actual real Spider-Man. He's just a tokenized version of Spider-Man. And that's in every story arc that he's ever gone through. Peter Parker has gone through almost the same exact thing. So this is literally what you just said, on paper, and you advocated for this. You advocate for Miles Morales. You're so desperate to make him into an accepted Spider-Man, and he is just a version of Spider-Man. He is not the Spider-Man. There's a big difference in the English language there. It says, we then have to look at story and narrative as one of the things that we can innovate on. She continued, like when you bring someone in from a different culture, from a different background, from a different gender, they're going to create something that we haven't seen before. No, that's not the case at all. They don't create something at all. They just corrupt what's already been created. That's what we've seen time and time again. And listen, again, they're pretending. They're pretending as if diverse people didn't exist 10 years ago or any time before that. They're pretending as if all of a sudden now video games are being made by anybody other than white people. It was only white people who were making video games 10 plus years ago. Like, no, that's not the fucking case. That's not the case at all. You guys want to grip so hard on your race. It's really pathetic. It says next, she said that the way we look at demographics is that we go, okay, the majority of our player base is, let's say, a white male, so we're going to make stuff for white males. But if you make something from that perspective, if an Asian trans woman, and it's really strong, then it will work for Asian trans women. Bro, these people really think, and yes, you are correct, the majority of the player base is in fact white males, but those white males have been consuming diverse content for decades now. Literally, like, I don't understand why you want to come out and pretend like you are the first other than for racial grifting. That's the only reason why you would want to do it. It says, Blair explained, people crave new stories. If you want to innovate, even to stay current, it's not about graphics. It's not about hardware. It's about opening up new perspectives for people. So I explained it as it's important to game development to diversify. It's not just part of advocacy or activism. It is going to make your games better. No, it's not. It's not. Fake diversity, equity, and inclusion has never once made a video game better. It has often killed video games. Suicide Squad is the latest example. People don't like you. I think you underestimate the ability for people to realize your bullshit. That's the funny thing. People can easily see through this fake diversity nonsense. They can see through the virtue signaling. And it's very easy to pick up on. And these people think that they're so stunning and brave, that they're so subversive, they're so smart that nobody can pick up on it. And they're able to just insert whatever ideology they want without anybody picking up on it whatsoever. Like, no, bro, we see this stuff. It's very easy to pick up on. You are not subversive. You are very easily seen. Unfortunately for you, I know how much you hate that, but you are. You're very easily seen. We can see everything that you're doing. Blair would also state the market has also always been frustrating to me because we make assumptions based on what we already have instead of what we could have. A couple of months ago, we were talking about a lot of player choice in Assassin's Creed. People were saying, well, no matter how good this female character is, a majority of players play it as a male character, so therefore people prefer male characters. Well, that's the truth. Like, stats are the truth. As much as you hate the fact that that is the truth, it is. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. And then what I had to explain was, no, actually from a marketing and psychology perspective, here we go with these people thinking they're the smartest people in the room. Most people are going to choose the gender that they most align with. It doesn't mean that that's what they want. She said, if you are male identified, it's not that you don't want to play as a woman. You're just going, oh, that one's for me. I'm a guy. I don't go to the ladies' room. She then pointed to Horizon Zero Dawn as an example. We look at the success with something like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a game led by a female character. If they had made it a choice, most players would have played as male, but they didn't, and it was a huge success. So basically, you're saying that by forcing people into overly diverse situations, that somehow is going to make the game a success. No. What made Horizon Forbidden Dawn successful was the gameplay, was the story of the first game, what the way that the world was built, with the fact that the story was so good, in my opinion, the first game anyway, was so good that it drew people in. Nobody cares about whether or not it's a female or a male character. Obviously, when given the choice, yes, people will choose to pick whatever they align with. But that doesn't mean that the success of the game is based off of that, because people still have to buy the game understanding or having an idea of what it is. That's what sells the game, not the fact that you have a choice between male or female characters. What sells the game is what you believe the story is going to be like and how interested you are in experiencing that. Then she says, maybe the most interesting part of Blair's comments came when she admitted that she believes gamers are a captured audience and will accept the brands no matter what kind of changes are made to them. She said, I think the majority of the men, if you have Assassin's Creed starring a woman, they will play it anyway. Aside from a couple of trolls on Twitter, the odds are they're going to go, oh, this is a brand that I like, so I'm just going to play. Aside from Blair's comments, one of the company's employees, or at least one of their consultants, Maya Kramer, made it clear her disdain for white male characters in video games. In 2016, Kramer wrote, I'm a sucker for a warrior wearer, so I bought Peter Panic. Also, I don't know why games featuring human characters are still so white and male. Now, if you guys don't know who this person is, this is Felix at Home, aka Lego Butts, another trans person that went trans to protect themselves from their old tweets. I mean, like, we already did so many videos on Lego Butts, so I'm not going to go too deep in it. But ultimately, the combination between what the employees think and what the CEO is pushing on those employees and how it all just circulates through Sweet Baby Inc., it's not hard to understand just why this company is god-awful. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.
Do not wait until the end to call your consultants. Bring them in at the beginning, and instead of asking them, hey, is this very racist thing we did very racist? Or is this deeply offensive thing we did deeply offensive? Are you hurt by it?
That's racist!